So welcome, thank you for coming. Today we have a really great presentation. It looks like we have Ali on, who gave us a great presentation yesterday. And we're really excited to have you. Thank you again for both of you to help us out. So today's session is going to be about speech features in Windows Phone 8 development. And this is our MVP mentor Senthil Kumar, who's based in Bangalore. So I know you have a little bit more that you're going to talk about yourself, so I'll let you go ahead and take it away. Thanks.
Okay, so let me start.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Griffin. Hi, everyone. I am Senthil Kumar. Welcome to the webinar series as a part of the Microsoft MVP Mentor program. In today's session, we are going to learn about the speech API and how the developers can utilize the speech features in their Windows Phone 8. This is a level 100 session which explains in simple terms on how to integrate speech features in your Windows Phone app. Okay. So in case you have any issues on unable to hear me, please feel free to ping me on the link so that I can always look into the issue and then resolve it from my end if there is one. About me, well, I am Senthil Kumar. I work for Driving Solutions Bangalore. I am a software engineer, speaker, and a blogger based out of Bangalore. I am a Microsoft MVP in client development with my primary focus on Windows Phone and Windows 8 development. I'm a Windows Phone enthusiast, and mostly you will see me speaking or writing about Windows Phone development, especially at my blog mobileosgeek.com. And in case if any of you want to reach out to me, you can contact me via my Twitter handle. It's @isenthil. The agenda for today's session would be on the speech features in Windows Phone 8. So for the next 45 to 50 minutes, I'll introduce the speech functionality in the Windows Phone 8 and explain the core concepts of the speech functionality in Windows Phone 8. We'll then look into the voice commands and how the developers can integrate the voice command in their app. Then we'll also see how to easily add the text to speech and speech to text with different options in the Windows Phone app. I'll also show a simple app and explain how the above features that we are going to talk today is being integrated into it and walk you through with the code as well. Towards the end of the session, we'll have a Q&A section. In case if you have any questions, keep that till the end so we can always take it up during the Q&A section. So coming back to the speech, why do we need speech in our Windows Phone app? Imagine a scenario where a Windows Phone user called Senthil installs an app called MVP Mentor to view the webinars for a particular month, say February. In this scenario, he searches for the app from the app list, and what happens if the number of apps installed on a phone is lot? In this case, the user has to search for the app and then launch it. Now he has to open the screen within the app that lists out the list of webinars, and then he has to search for the webinars in the month of February with a functional search box kind of thing. It's a little time consuming, and the user might sometimes be frustrated to do the steps repeatedly if he uses the app more frequently, right? So how about another scenario where your app has a speech functionality? The user taps and holds the start button and speaks to the phone to open the app, and then displays the app, displays the webinars within the application in a particular month. With this, the number of steps that the user performs is very minimal, and this improves the overall user experience with the phone as well as the app better. This kind of approach can be achieved with the voice command in Windows Phone 8. What is a voice command in Windows Phone 8? When a user installs the app, he or she can use the predefined commands by the app in order to launch the app or perform some kind of actions within the application. For example, if you need to open a calculator, the user can simply press and hold the start button in the phone, and then he can say open calculator. This will launch the calculator application in the phone. If the user needs to open the calendar, the user can simply say open calendar. As a developer, one can use the voice command functionality so that you can deep link into your application from outside and perform a task. So let's quickly go and see a demo of the built-in voice command in Windows Phone 8. Okay, I think there's an issue. Is it better now? Okay, but slides are not in sync. Fine. Okay, I'm going to talk about the demo of the built-in voice command now. So I'm going to launch the Windows Phone emulator now. And then let me tap and hold on the Windows Start button. This will show me an what can I say dialog, which lets the user to speak to the phone and then launch a particular app. I can tap on the speak button that you see here, and then let me open calculator. Open calculator. Okay, let me give a try again. Open calculator. You saw that the calculator application is being opened now currently. So similarly, I can also open a calendar application or any other built-in application with this mechanism. And if you see the what can I say screen, you see various tabs, something like a common, and then you have apps tab and you have more tab. The apps tab will list out the applications that have speech enabled in it. For example, there is an app called Speech app, which has the speech or the voice command enabled in it. So if I can go into this application, it shows the Speech app as a command called MVP Mentor, and it says the command is show monthly webinar. So this app will show me the list of webinars during a month organized by the MVP Mentor program. So then I have common tab, which lists out the various common commands that the user can use to speak to the phone. For example, there is something called call Chris mobile. This will make a phone call to the user called Chris, which is available in the People's Hub and with a mobile number. And find coffee in Seattle will search for coffee from a particular location. Then there is another command called text or text brandy, which will text to that particular user. And there is a more tab which lists out a lot of other things that the user can do with the voice commands here. So let me go back to the slides now. That's just a second. Let me open up these slides. So next we have the speech components in Windows Phone 8. There are three different components that the developers can utilize for their Windows Phone 8 development. First is the voice command, where the sample that we already saw before. For example, if you want to open a calculator application, you simply say open calculator. And if you have your own app which also needs the integration of the voice commands, then you will be able to enable that within your app. For example, if the app alias name is MVP Mentor and you wanted to say a create event, you simply say MVP Mentor and create event as a command. Then the next component that we are going to talk in during this session is a speech recognition, which is also called as speech to text. You use your voice as input, which can be taken by which can be used within your application. The last component that we're going to see is a text to speech, which is also called as speech synthesis, which you can still use within your application for various other functionalities. Okay, let me go back again. So then we have the voice command. How do we enable the voice command within your application? How to create and integrate voice command? The first step in integrating the voice command is to create a voice command definition file. This is a very simple XML file which defines all the necessary commands for your application. Once you define all the commands that your application can take, then the second step would be to initialize the VCD file, the voice command definition file, within your application. The third step would be to handle the navigation to execute the commands. So when you're using voice commands, you should also make sure that your application has all these capabilities enabled within the application manifest file. Some of these capabilities include speech recognition, microphone, and networking. If these capabilities are not enabled and when you're trying to use the voice command within your application, then it may not work correctly and you might get an unauthorized exception as an error. So the steps for creating the voice command definition file, what you see is a sample voice command definition file that I've already created. This includes the command prefix that you see here. That's called MVP Mentor. So if the user taps and holds on the start button, you can say MVP Mentor as a prefix. That's an alias name for your application. Then there is a command being defined within your command set called show webinar. So this command set has something called listen for as one of the tag. So the user generally will say the text that is shown here, show me the topics for webinars in as text along with the MVP Mentor command prefix. And we also have something called month views that you see here. Sorry. So the month views are nothing but the phrase list that the user is going to use. For example, in this VCD file, I have two phrase lists called February and March. So when I'm using the voice command definition, or when the user tries to speak to the app, he can simply say MVP Mentor, show me the topics for webinars in February. So when he speaks this out, the phrase list would be identified as February in this case, and your application has to handle that and find out in the February what are the webinars that is available, and your application has to show that. The second step would be to initialize the VCD file. This initialization is done using the voice command service class, and there is a method called install command sets from file async. You should make sure that your function is async. What we are doing is here we are using the app.xaml file to just initialize the command set. This will be done only once for the first time when your application is launching. And I'm also going to specify what is my voice command definition XML file as well. The last step would be to handle the navigation and perform the action accordingly. So this can be done basically in the on navigator to event in the page that we're going to specify. So what in the navigator to event, we'll identify what is the command that the user had spoken, and then we'll try to see what kind of action that we're going to perform based on the command. We'll just see a quick demo on how the app voice command will be integrated into the MVP Mentor app that we're going to build now. So I'm going to launch the Visual Studio, and I already have built the app now. So we'll just walk through the code, like what exactly the app does. The first step, as I told you, the voice command definition file has to be created. You see the MVP VCD.xml is the voice command file that was created. So creating this file is pretty simple. All that you do is right click on the project, say add new item. This will show me, just a second. Yeah, this will show me the list of all the templates that are available for me to add to my app. So I select the voice command definition file, and then I can give a proper name. Once I give a name, a file would be created, and then I can define my own command sets and commands within this. Like the way I explained in the slide, the command prefix is the MVP Mentor, that's alias name, and then we also have the command being defined for our app. So next step would be to initialize the VCD file. So this can be done only once when your app is launched for the first time. So I'm using the application app.xaml file. So I just go to the, just a second, phone. MVP, yeah. So what you see here is the application launching event where I'm initializing this file for the first time. So once this is done, I'm gonna go to the file which will be launched as soon as the user tries to speak those commands. So I've overridden the on navigator to method. So this is the screen that will be, this is the method that will be launched as soon as this screen is getting loaded. So in this event, what I'm going to do is from the URL, the navigation context.query string also includes the voice command name as one of the parameter. So I'm going to see if the navigation is via the voice command or is it a normal navigation. If it's coming from the voice command, I'm going to identify that and then get the voice command name as well. And I'm also finding out if that voice command name is show webinar as shown in the voice command definition file. You see this command name, the show webinar. So if that is identified, then I'm going to find out what is the month that the user has spoken. So the keyword for the months is months view that we have defined it here. So that been captured here. So once that is done, I already have a list of webinars hard coded into my code now. So what you see, there are 3 different webinars that are happening in February and March. So I'm going to filter this list based on the month that I'm in. If I'm in February, then I'm going to see these 2 webinars, one from Senthil Kumar and one from Ali Sufyan. Right? So if the month is March, then I'm going to see the webinar from MVP Mentor Dave Wireless. That's a talk on Xbox Live indie game development. So let me run this application and then see how the voice command is being integrated to our application now. So let me tap and hold on the start button and let me speak those command sets. MEP Mentor, show me the topics for the webinars in February. Okay, so now what you see is there are two webinars, speech features in Windows Phone 8 and Windows 8 app development. These are the webinars that will be done in February. As the user said, you need to see the webinars that are happening in February. So the voice command within the application is able to handle this, and based on the action that we perform, we are able to filter this for that particular month. If I try the same thing for the month of March, see what is the result here. MVP Mentor, show me the topics for webinars in March. You see the list of webinars now currently being shown for the month of March. So just a second. Okay, that was about the voice command integration. You'll be able to perform various other things like the way I showed you. You can make your app look really super cool with the voice command definition integration into your app. So let me go back to the slides now. So after the voice command definition, the other component that we're going to talk about is the speech recognition, right? There are three different ways in which the developers can use the speech recognition in their application. So the first thing is using the predefined dictation grammar or ready-to-use grammars, and this is activated by default when using the speech recognizer and recognizes most of the words and phrases. Using this technique, you can enable speech recognition with just very few lines of code, like the way you see in the below screenshot, or a sample code. With the dictation grammar or a web search grammar, you don't have to author the grammar. The speech recognition in this case is performed by a remote service, and the text is written based on that. Right? So the next thing is you also have list grammars, where you can define an array of a string, which will be your grammar that you're going to use it, and then you can simply assign it to the recognizer object using a method which we're going to see it in the demo in the coming slides. The speech recognizer in this case will recognize one of the strings that is part of your array. It also provides a faster performance and a greater accuracy compared to the dictation grammar or a web search grammar. But the list grammars are more suited for simple recognition scenarios. If you want a complex recognition scenarios, then we have to go for the XML grammars, that's the SRGS grammar. That's the third technique, which lets you to author the grammar using XML file format. The SRGS is defined as per the speech recognition grammar specification. I'll just show you in the upcoming demo on how you can use the SRGS grammar, but this is beyond the scope of this session because this session is focused more on a level 100 session. So we'll just run through a demo on how this can be done. So we'll just head over to the speech recognition sample that we're going to see. So let me walk through the demo. So I have a form called speech to text, which basically has three different functionalities here. The basic speech to text, which uses the web search grammar. The second button will use the functionality of a list grammar, and the third functionality will use the XML file based format for speech to text. So let me head over to the speech to text. Right? So to integrate the speech functionality, what we generally do is make sure that your method or the event is put into the sync, and you also use the await functionality. So you create an instance of the speech recognizer UI, and once you do that, you use the speech the recognize with UI async function method to trigger the speech UI from where the user can speak, which is captured into the result object. Once the result object is captured, you have the result available as a text within the recognition result. Similarly, for the speech recognizer with the list of string, the code is similar to the one that you see above. In this case, I'm defining a list of string which takes Windows Phone, Windows Azure, and Windows Phone 8 or Windows 8 as an item into the string. And I'm going to use this as a grammar which will be added to the list. So now the speech recognizer in this case will recognize only these three items. And if it tries to, if the user tries to speak any other items apart from this, it will simply don't accept this. So then, okay. So the last option that we're going to see is the, just a second. So the last option that we're going to see is how we're going to bring in the localization. For example, in this case, I want the speech to be in terms of German language. So I define the list in German, and I want the user to speak only those terms, and which the application can pick that up. So let me run through this in the emulator now. Okay, so I'm going to use the second option, the speech to text now. And the first option is basic speech to text, right? So let me click on the button and speak a text here. Good morning. You saw that the application is able to pick the voice and then convert that into a text. If I use the same with a list grammar now, we already have three different items being listed here. So let me try to use those terms with the list grammars here. Windows Phone. You'll have heard that I said Windows Phone, and the speech recognizer UI was able to pick that and then get the data. Okay, just a second. I think I can. Are you able to see this? Just for info. So is my screen in sync? Oh. So let me continue again with whatever was happening. So now the third option is the speech recognizer with the German text, right? So let me tap on the speech recognizer button. Ein. So now what you saw and what you heard was I tried to speak a German number, say 1 in German, and the speech recognizer was able to pick that and then was able to repeat it to me. So let me go back. So let me continue with this slide. So that was about the speech recognition that we saw now. So let me go back to the slide and then continue with the next set of features or the components that we are going to discuss about. The third component that we're going to talk about is the text-to-speech. Text-to-speech is another interesting feature where you can use this within your app. It is also called as speech synthesis, where the app can speak the specified text to the user using the Windows Phone speaker. You can either use a simple string for the phone to speak out, or an XML-based file structure called speech synthesis markup language, that's called SSML. The simplest way for the user to generate text-to-speech is to provide a simple string to the speak text async method, like the way you see in the below screenshot or a sample code. When the speak text async method is executed, you'll hear the text being spoken by the app. You can also select a speaking voice, language, etc. For example, when you want the app to speak a female voice or a male voice, you will have an option to do it. Additionally, you can also select the language from the list of supported languages as well. So let me head back to the quick demo on how the text-to-speech can be integrated now to your app. So within my application, let me go to the text-to-speech form where the text-to-speech functionalities have been already coded. So I basically have three functionalities here. One is simple text-to-speech where I use a simple string. And the second option is where I try to change the speaking voice or the language. And third is where I use SSML as a XML-based file for the speech. So let me get into one of the functionalities here. So what you see here is a speech synthesizer or a text-to-speech functionality being implemented with just very few lines of code, which makes the developer's job much easier. Right? So you have a speech synthesizer object where I instantiate it, and then I simply call the speak text async method of the speech synthesizer, and then I provide the text that is necessary for the phone to speak out. Similarly, when I want to change the language, right, for the speech synthesizer, what I do is still I instantiate the speech synthesizer, and then I can get the list of all the voices or the list of all the installed voices from the phone. Currently it's an emulator here, and then I can filter that using the link query to say, okay, show me only the get me only the language which is of type German, and then I set that voice to the synthesizer object here that was created. So then I use the same speak text async method to make sure that the text is spoken by the phone. So if I need to filter based on the, if I need to use the female voice instead of a male voice, what I can do is I can use and criteria here in the link query and say voice dot gender. I can filter the criteria based on the gender as well. Simply say gender dot male or female. With this, if I say, for example, female, the speech synthesizer will try to use the female voice. And the last option that we're going to see is usage of the SSML file. SSML is again the speech synthesis markup language. It is of the XML format. What I did was I created a simple XML file with the SSML format, and it already includes a predefined set of tags. You see here, it starts with speak, and I also specify what is the language that it needs for the speech, and then I also mention text which the phone has to speak out, the app has to speak out to me. The text says this is a test message from Senthil Kumar. So what I do here is I instantiate the speech synthesizer object and then specify the path to the SSML file to say, okay, where exactly the speech synthesizer has to pick the file from, and then I set that to the speak SSML from URI async method. So in this case, the app will pick the text that is marked into within the speech command and then will speak out to us. Okay, so let me go back to the code. So let me try to run the application now. So let me start the emulator. Now I'm going to use a third option where the third functionality is there. That's a text to speech. Let me tap on this. So let's try with the first option, the simple text to speech demo, where a simple string is being used for the speech. So you have heard that the app was able to speak the text that was given. The text generally says, hi everyone, welcome to the MVP Mentor webinars. You heard a female voice now. Similarly, when I use the speaking voice that's in a German, so based on the filtered voice information, let's hear that. So now what you heard was again a female voice. So now if I need to change it to a male voice, what I can do is in the filter criteria, instead of female, I can simply say male. And let me try to run this now. So now you heard a German language and a male voice being used for the text that was spoken now. So the last option that we're going to see is the SSML. That's the SSML feature with XML based format. So let me try to tap on the SSML button. Let me try to tap the button again so that you'll be able to hear that again. What the emulator, what the app told was, this is a test message from Senthil Kumar is what I heard now. Right? So that was about the text-to-speech feature in the Windows Phone 8. Let me go back to the demo again. Shift F5. So before that, in one of my initial slides, I also mentioned that the application should have some of the capabilities being enabled for your speech recognition and the voice command definitions to work fine. So where exactly do I go and then pick that, enable that option? It's simple here. You go to the properties folder within project, and there is this app manifest file. It's called WM app manifest file. Double click on this and you will see an UI designer of the app manifest file. Then you navigate to the capabilities tab in it. Then you see there are various capabilities that are available for your application, and which are the ones that are already enabled. So in this, you'll see that there is a microphone option. It's already checked. Initially, it will be unchecked. So when you want to implement the speech capabilities, so you have to check this option here, microphone, and networking in case if you are using the text, speech to text, especially if you're using the web search grammar. And then you also need to use the speech recognition here. So these three has to be enabled for your speech features to work fine within your app. So once you enable this, make sure you build your application and then test it out. So let me come back to the slides. So to summarize, what we saw was saw in this current session was the speech features in Windows Phone 8 and few scenarios, how you can use the speech feature in your application. We also saw what is the default voice command and how it works in Windows Phone 8 and how your app can utilize these features. We also saw the speech recognition, different kinds of speech recognition that you can use within your app. Then we saw the text-to-speech, how text-to-speech can be integrated with just minimal coding. And then different ways where the text-to-speech can be integrated with like simple text and SSML. And we also saw how to change the voice or a language for your text-to-speech. So that was about the session on Windows Phone 8 and speech features. In case if you have any Q&A, we are open for it now.
So feel free to open your mics and ask, or you can chat in the box as well. Either way is good with us. Yes, Alia, I will definitely post the recording. Yeah, sorry about the issues that you experienced. I'll make sure you get the recording.
If you have any queries with respect to the Windows Phone development and speech features, you're welcome to reach out to me via my Twitter handle @isenthil. I'll also share my email address where you can reach out to me in case if you have any queries as well. This is my email address here, senthil.kumar@live.in.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Senthil. I really appreciate your time today and everyone that joined. It's been really great. I really appreciate you taking the time to come out and give us this webinar today. So if anyone has anything to follow up with, you can feel free to email myself, carriefinn@microsoft.com, or Senthil as well. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day or your evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Carriefinn. Thanks.